Hey everybody, Jimmy Kerr here. I'm the B Flight champion, and I am so excited to be with you today. I've got some really important content to share with you. I can't wait to get into it. If you don't know me, I'm an avid golfer. I'm a mindset coach. I've been doing that for decades. I'm also an author. I've written 8 books. I've got the latest one is called The B Flight Champion's Guide to Golf. It's got 101 golf tips for you. We'll get into that a little bit later in the program. But again, really excited to be here. Thank you for your time. I want to get into sharing what the single digit blueprint is really all about. It's a concept that I've developed to help golfers shoot low. And I say it's a 9-month program, but I believe you can get there even quicker if you really adopt some of the ideas that are in the book, and embrace these concepts that I'm going to share with you today. The big thing to note is I am not going to be talking to you about changing your grip or improving your swing plane or buying new equipment. What I am going to be doing is really talking about what's going on between your ears when you're out there playing the game of golf. And to help with that, I've got this free tool that I want to offer you. It's a download, it's absolutely free. In fact, there's the QR code. You'll see that I've also got links in the chat that you can use to do this download, but it will help you understand a little bit better about how you're managing your emotions out there on the golf course. And I think it can be a rather valuable tool for you, especially at the beginning of the season as we get things moving along. Um, but on with the show. The reality of controlling ourselves out on a golf course is to recognize that it's not about chasing, swing fixes. It's not about buying new equipment and trying to hit the ball, 400 yards. It has nothing to do with that. The reality of the situation is you're going to score low when you can control your emotions, when you can make wise choices. It's kind of boring, but it's going to factor into getting a lower handicap. The better choices you make, the less mistakes you make, the lower your scores are going to be. And, you know, when you think about it, are you, um, exploding and having awful holes because of one bad swing? Or is it because of several bad decisions? Chances are it's not the swings that are killing you. It's the choices you're making after a bad swing. And that's what a lot of this session is really going to be all about. I'm going to try to simplify it and help you recognize that there's 4 main things to be looking at. We'll get into those, as we go along. And, good golf happens when we recognize that, um, you know, most players don't have a swing problem. They have a thinking problem. They have a mindset problem. Um, so what I'm going to be kind of getting at is there's a difference between the ego-driven golfer, those chasing the, highlight reel birdies and that kind of stuff, versus those that are comfortable relying on, getting a bogey, choosing boring pars, nothing fancy. Hit the ball, get on the green, 2 putt, walk off, get on the tee box, hit the next shot in the fairway. That's how you get to a single digit. It's not really about looking good or seeking distance or thinking that you're an incredible, ball striker because you can hit your drive, 400 yards into the woods. There's far too many of those kinds of players out there doing that kind of stuff. And I think, you know, um, we can fix a lot of it by just staying emotionally, controlled, emotionally intact as we go around playing a round of golf. Um, and much of it is something that I call being the adult in the group, you know? Uh, are you controlling your emotions? Are you disciplined? Are you relying on your pre-shot routine? Are you making sure that you're not compounding a mistake by introducing another mistake? Far too many golfers are, just not comfortable, you know, taking the medicine. They're going to be trying to, make the miraculous shot out of the woods and spin a ball around a pine tree and only to end up, deeper in the woods and having to take a drop. And suddenly what could have been maybe a par save or a bogey becomes a double or a triple. So clearly, we don't want that kind of thing going on in our golf game. Um, One of the uh, real key aspects of being, you know, um, the adult in the group is recognizing that there are only, four numbers that you really have to concern yourself with, and that's greens, putts, double bogeys, and penalty strokes. Um, 6 to 9 greens is not a lot. I mean, that's every other, maybe every third green. Um, Putts, well, that's two putting pretty much every hole and getting up and down on the holes that we miss in regulation. So if we're only on the let's say we're only making our greens in regulation, one uh, every 3 holes. That means we got to get up and down too, and that means getting the ball 2 feet, 3 feet from the pin on a chip or on approach, and then knocking it into save a par or bogey. So those two kind of go together. It's getting on the green and it's not three putting. Now the double bogeys are a similar challenge. You don't want to get above a bogey. Maybe you can give yourself one around, but that's about it. And same thing goes with penalty strokes. So you want to make sure that you're focusing in on these four aspects of your game in order to play well. Now, notice I didn't say anything about hitting the ball 350 yards. I didn't say anything about needing to improve your swing plane. I didn't mention new equipment. None of that's part of the equation. It's really getting at the idea that there's, you know, four numbers, and these are the four numbers that we got to pay attention to. Let's look at each one of these in a little more detail. But before we do, I want to make you aware of the fact that I've got a book out there. Made mention of it at the outset. Again, the QR code is right there if you want to take a look at that. I've also got a link in the chat to help you with that as well. So, interested in the book, it comes in all different formats and it's available wherever you get your books. Um, Again, on with the show. To get to the very first goal, we're not talking about hitting 15 greens. We're not talking about hitting 12 greens. We're really only talking about getting at every other or every third hole in regulation. If we can do that, we can get to a single digit. It's really, really that simple. Um, I think a lot of folks struggle with this because they fail to recognize the significance of being able to play smart, know your yardages, and make predictable misses. So, if you're aware of those things, if you know what your yardages are, you're making good club selection, if you know where your miss is, let's say you're a person that pushes the ball and there's a trap, on the right side of the green, you're a right-handed golfer, you want to avoid that. So maybe you're aiming to the left side a little bit. So should you push the ball, you're still on the green. That's about making a good choice. That's not about being a pin chaser. If it's tight to that sand trap, you need to avoid it, pure and simple. So pros chase the flags. Really, smart amateurs, they play to the middle of the green. I mean, that's what we do. Um, as far as the putting, again, this is a formula to make sure we're thinking about two putting most of the time and avoiding those three putts. If we two putt all the way around, that's 36 putts. If we're able to get up and down a few times, now we're at 33. Get up and down three times, that's a one putt. Okay. Get up and down four or five times, now you're at a 31. And if you can get your putts in this range, you're going to improve your handicap. You're going to improve your scores. It's really just math. And the better we're at it, the better we're at, you know, recognizing that it's just math, the better choices we're going to make and the more controlled, uh, we're going to be with our game. So, you know, again, got to ask the question, who out there is, practicing 30-foot putts all day long? Not most of us. We're mostly, practicing those 3, 4, 5 footers, which is great. So when you're in a place and you're trying to save par and you're 30 feet away, don't pound a putt. Don't knock it 6 feet past and then have a tough comebacker just to save a bogey. No, work on the lag putting, get it to 2 or 3 feet, knock it in, and walk to the next hole. That's again an example of being an adult. It's an example of being in control of your golf game. As far as goal number 3, it's really damage control, and it's about making sure we're avoiding the double bogeys. Many double bogeys that, when you think about it, uh, are driven out of ego, right? They're trying to hit a shot over water that you can't clear. They're trying to knock a ball, over trees, off the tee box and not being able to do that. It's just trying to show off, with your playing partners just how good you are, only to fail and end up, you know, with a situation where you've got to punch out and take your medicine and, you know, end up with a double as you walk with your head hanging off the green at the end of the hole. So we want to avoid those things. And that starts with no more hero shots, no more attacking tucked, pins, and not trying to make up for mistakes. I mean, so many of us end up working on, um, you know, perfecting our game, end up in a situation where we really should be punching out. We decide, well, I've got a good round going. I'm going to, draw the ball around this pine tree only to hit it and get stuck underneath it and have to take a drop. All those things are avoidable. That's just helping us get high scores and ruining our round. So, what we really want to be doing is controlling those decisions, making wise choices, just knock the ball out and move on to the next hole. That's how you're going to lower your scores. That's how you're going to ultimately become a single digit handicapper. And goal 4 is all about penalty shots, and that's mental errors. Those are things where, again, we're making mistakes. We've got dumb thinking going on. We're trying to, uh, go to the pin and ending up in the bunker, or we're trying to uh, clear a pond and ending up smack dab in the middle of it when we really should be laying up, or we really should be hitting to the fat side of the green. Those are the things that are going to improve the way we play. Those are things that are going to enhance our enjoyment of the game. And those are absolutely the things that are going to add up to a lower handicap. So, you know, you've gotta just, uh, really make sure that you're the adult, you're controlling yourself out there, and you're not, overreacting when things go a little sideways in the middle of a round. Um, one of the sort of keys to the roadmap is the spacing of time. I'm suggesting that we take the first 3 months this season and we work on stopping the bleeding. We work on making sure that, we're making the changes in our game that are going to help us put ourselves in position to score our best. And then in months 4, 5, and 6, which will really be, if you think about it, sort of midsummer at the height of the season, we're reinforcing the stuff that we worked on in the beginning of the season, and we're really making it part of our game. And then, of course, the last 3 months, which is sort of in the late summer, early fall, we're owning all of this. We're owning all the changes that we're making, and we're converting like a grown up. Like I've been saying, it this is the formula. This is the way to get there, and it's not trying to rush to a single digit in the first month of the year. It's taking our time, it's building the fundamentals, it's reinforcing those fundamentals, and then keeping them strong as we wind up the season. So I gotta ask, is this making sense? If it is, thank you. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Uh, the concepts I think are solid. We're gonna dive a little bit deeper into each one of those concepts in a minute. But again, if you want to learn to really own these changes, then I suggest that you maybe consider um, getting into the whole um, mindset coaching thing. And again, I've got an offering here. It's a super duper deal. It's only $50 for a 30-minute session. It's a one-on-one. The links are in the chat as well as the QR code here. So feel free to take it. I think we can develop a plan together that's going to help you use some of these ideas. Um, so again, let's get at what these key concepts are really all about. As we wind down our time together. Phase one is about stopping the bleeding. It's here that you're absolutely going to be committed to choosing punch outs. So for the first 3 months, I don't want any miraculous shots from you. If you're in the woods, just knock it back into play. That's it. Uh, Second, strict adherence to lag putting. Work on getting the putt 2 or 3 feet from the pin. That's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to knock it in the hole and ending up 6 feet past and having a really tough comebacker just to save a bogey. That's not going to work for you in the long run. What's going to work is being good at getting it to 2 or 3 feet on your first putt and then knocking it in. And lastly, the third piece that I really want you to work on early part of this season is really focus on hitting the middle of the green. Don't go after the pins. Don't be chasing them around, over sand traps and stuff. Just keep the game simple, keep it boring, be comfortable with a boring par, be comfortable with a boring bogey, and walk on to the next tee box ready to play the next hole. That's what I want you to work on in the first 3 months of the year. The next 3 months, I want you to be thinking about controlling the chaos. And that's about predictability. That's about, making sure that you are, um, you know, focused on knowing where your miss is, playing away from trouble, accepting that we're not perfect. I mean, I've got guys that I play with on a regular basis that expect to hit their best shot every time they take a club back. And they get frustrated when they recognize that they're not always going to hit their best shot. So just accepting that, coming to a place in your headspace where you're okay, not playing perfectly every time is going to make a huge difference in your scores because you're going to start to realize that it's okay to make better choices. It's okay to, you know, work on controlling the chaos. You're not going to get into trouble doing that. It's staying within ourselves. Um, and and that's an important part of the game. I mean, you know, again, it's just math. The way we're going to improve our scores is hitting greens in regulation, maybe every third one, making 32 putts. That's a couple of up and downs and two putting the rest of the way. And it's avoiding double bogeys and avoiding penalty shots. That's how we lower our handicap. That's how we improve our game. And that's how we really enhance our enjoyment of the sport that we love so much. So kind of keep that in mind. Phase three, the last 3 months of the year, I really think it's important for us to commit to um, using the techniques and the things that we've worked on the first part of the season. So once, you know, uh, 1 through 6, where we're developing skills and we're reinforcing the notion that it's okay to two putt and make wise choices and not go pin hunting and all that kind of stuff. In months 7 through 9, what we want to be doing is, relying on all of what we've learned, committing to our pre-shot routine, um, especially when the pressure is on and not flailing all over the place, and really just getting comfortable with the new golfer we've become by using this blueprint. So that's what the last part of the season is going to be about. It's reinforcing all the stuff that we've been doing. So um, the blueprint's real simple. It's making sure that we're choosing to play a controlled round. We're in essence choosing, boring over brilliant. We're okay with that. We've got our ego in check in such a way that we don't need to hit the ball 350 yards. We don't need the latest and greatest equipment. We just need to play sort of steady Eddie golf and, do the math, hit, every third green in regulation, maybe every other. Um, Two putt most of the time, avoid the three putts, avoid the doubles, avoid the penalties. If we are able to do that, then we're playing in a very mature and controlled way. And yes, maybe it's boring, but boring's okay. That's how we're going to lower our handicap. So again, I feel like um, being calm is really about you know making sure that you're making a fundamental change in the way you're thinking, because it's my strong belief that if we do a good job with that, then in 9 months we'll be single digit handicappers. That's the long and the short of it. But it starts between our ears. It starts with being okay with the boring. It starts with being okay, playing steady golf and not letting our emotions, take us for a ride. Um, as we wrap it up, I just want to say that, we've got a game plan for you. Here's sort of the next steps. I've got the QR code, offered earlier in the video. You'll also find the links in the chat. You can download the free golf mindset assessment. You can sign up for a, a lesson. Again, that's open to the first 25 people that sign up. Or you can buy the book and start thinking about some of the using some of the tips that are in there. I've got 101 tips in that book. Those are all ways for us to reinforce this single digit blueprint that I shared with you today. And I invite you to take advantage of all of that. So, again, Jimmy Kerr, B Flight Champion, signing off and saying thank you for your time.